Hello everyone, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Visionaries, the series where we spotlight some of the most influential leaders in the construction industry. I am your host, Julian Tolentino, and today I am joined by three gentlemen who stand at the helm of one of the most successful group of companies in the UAE. Please join me in welcoming Sajan, the Group Vice Chairman of the new group, who is joined today by his two sons, Azhar Sajan, the founder and CEO of Casa Milano, and Sahil Sajan, the Director of Milano. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me today. How is everyone feeling?
Absolutely fine, and thank you for inviting all of us.
Of course. So today is a very special day, and it's a day to commemorate you, Anis, and I'm very glad to see two of your sons here today. So happy Father's Day to you, first of all, and to your sons, thank you for joining us today. So I guess my first question to your query is, what does it mean to you to have your two sons join us today?
Thank you for the wishes of Father's Day. And like you mentioned, how does it feel to have your two sons? I feel on the top of the world, and I can't thank God enough, as well as my wife Ruby, for blessing me with these wonderful boys, Azhar and Sahil.
Thank you so much. And what do you guys feel?
I think it's amazing that we get to celebrate Father's Day and we're having this podcast here. So happy Father's Day, Dad.
Thank you.
I think it's too special. It's one of my first podcasts and doing it with my dad on Father's Day. Can't explain the feeling.
Amazing, and we're glad that we're hosting it with your first podcast here with you. I guess the first question I have is for you, Anis, which, with the whole idea of being in a company where it's family-led, what does it mean to you to really be working with family? Is there any difference in the way of dynamics that you see?
It's awesome. You see, there are challenges when you start working with your family, because there are times when you tend to take each other for granted. But as I mentioned earlier, that I've been lucky, both my boys have taken their responsibilities. Then it was Azhar who started Casa Milano 5 years back. And my younger one, whom I always call as my mirror image, has got into the Milano. And I did not have to push them. So I'll be lying if I say I had challenges. I would say, even with time, I probably will feel gratitude to Almighty God that I did not have to face these challenges.
Right. I think it's a really good thing to know as well when you're backed with, family, and to have them kind of always be inside with you as well. So I think that's a very good feeling to have. Right, so I want to go to you, Sahil. As the youngest member of the Sajan family and the director of Milano, what are some of the most important lessons that you've learned from Anis, and how do you think this has shaped you as a person?
Well, I started my journey 4 years ago in the Milano office. And the first thing was that I used to sit with my dad in his cabin and see what he's doing. And the lesson what you ask is that to go into depth of each thing. Like, don't just leave it on your employer. Go into depth. Ask questions all the time and just don't let it go.
Right. And do you think that there was any, places where you feel like you lacked and maybe your dad has helped you in any way?
Yeah, of course. Because most of the time we deal with salespeople.
Yeah.
So going into the product knowledge and the numbers was a thing, of course, I lacked because I didn't know. So he taught me that very well, and I can say that I have adapted well in the last 4 years, and I'm very grateful for that.
Thank you so much. Azhar, going to you. You being the eldest, of course, and the CEO and founder of Casa Milano, you obviously head a big team. How has your father's guidance kind of influenced and shaped your vision for the company itself?
It's helped me every step of the way because finally he has lifelong more experience than I do in managing people, managing the entire business altogether, from the finances, from the sales, from the product, and understanding how to deal with certain situations, what is the type of scenarios you deal into. So when I dived into this 5 years ago, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I was still in university at that time. And of course, I'm very grateful for my dad, for my family, for the colleagues, the friends. They all supported and guided me through this. So, if nobody starts a business alone. Yeah. You have all the people supporting you. So I'm grateful for that. And of course, his guidance means no bounds. There are so many situations that me and my dad discuss. Sometimes I'm saying, no, this is correct. He's saying this is correct. And 99% of the time, he's right, and that 1% he doesn't have all the information. That's why he's not right. So it's honestly helped me a lot. I'm honored that he's my dad, and it's helped me clinch through these last 5 years. We faced COVID as well, and he told me this is the best challenge you have in your entire life. Maximize it, utilize it, strategize better in this in order to move up the ladder as soon as possible, because they've given us this platform. Why not use it to the best of your ability? Why, instead of slacking around? So I had that chance. It wasn't easy, as much as everybody would say that, yeah, everything's been handed over. It was starting a new brand altogether, and he had done it many years ago. So he had that knowledge and experience to guide me through it.
I'm glad you mentioned that actually about things being handed over, because I guess it would be a very common stereotype to kind of say that, you know, with family-run companies, you have things handed over to you on a silver plate. But what do you really feel about that? Is that something that, how do you debunk this kind of stereotype when it comes to working for a company that you genuinely enjoy?
I'll ask the person, please come take my place, take my dad as well, and see how it starts. No, I'm kidding. Honestly, it's very easier said than done. I was just mentioning to my trainer this morning as well, the grass is always greener on the other side. It's not the case at all. It does take a lot of effort. If everything was so simple, all the other second generation businesses would go further and further, but that's not the case. If you take the right interest and add value to it and see how to make this business better, how can you add your expertise, how can you modernize it, then only you will be able to grow forward. And instead of being on auto mode, it's not gonna last forever. So that's very important to take care, because today you have everything, tomorrow you may not. So you might as well make sure you have that security, you have the importance and knowledge to grow.
Right, very well said, Azhar. I'm gonna go to you, Anis, for a little bit here. If there was one thing that you could impart to your sons about, you know, I guess, running a business, what would it be in a few words?
This is the best time of your age, between 20 and 30, whatever you can do, you go for it.
All right, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank
I
you.
will be having a conversation now with Anis. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, Anis, I want to go from the very beginning. I want to know exactly what you did to get to where you are now. So let's rewind back to your early days. You were mentioning to me earlier about, you know, your ages 20 to 30 is the golden age. So I want to know, how did you start? Where did this come from?
I learned it from my brother, because I lost my father when I was just 8 years old and my brother was 16. From that time, my brother Sajan, who's the chairman of Danube Group, took the responsibility of the family, and he used to sell novelties on the street as well as also work in a factory. And that gave me a kick that you need to work yourself to earn your living. So I started during Diwali, you know, like how you have Christmas in Diwali, Indians celebrate with lights. So I used to sell those lights on the street, and that gave me that first earning of my life, and I was quite happy. It was not too much, but it was a beginning of many more to come.
Right, and you did become a sales executive at Eureka Forbes, right?
Oh, yes.
During that time as well. And can you talk about some of the challenges that you faced during this time and how you kind of went up from that?
Well, Eureka Forbes is a company in India which is in direct selling. When you say direct selling, at that time you could go door to door, ringing the bell of every customer and sell a water purifier. So Eureka Forbes had two products, a water purifier and a vacuum cleaner. I was in the water purifier division, and I remember the challenges. First is to enter the building, because there has to be a watchman. He used to not allow you to enter the building directly. So how do you get in? So I used to carry a pack of cigarettes, even though I don't smoke, just to offer the watchman as a bribe so that he let me in. And then when you enter and ring the bell, there were times when probably the mood of the family wouldn't be good. They might slam the door on your face. But that taught me the art of rejection. It made me more tougher in sales. And if you are ringing probably 50 bells in one building, you might probably be greeted by 2 or 3. So that is where it made you tougher. And out of 2 or 3, you might not get even one sale. But the mistake what I did was that I used to do one sale and used to be happy and go back home. So that was I was telling in my earlier conversation, that you should not be contented for what you've got, because today if your day is good, go for it and make the most of it. Who knows what would be there for the next day.
My second question kind of ties back to the Danube Group, which you now head. Danube Group is a leading name in the building materials in the GCC. So what do you believe has been the key to the company's success and the growth under your leadership?
Well, I've always said the captain is as good as the team. But when you lead from the front, and as I mentioned earlier, that my brother Rizwan Sajan always led from the front. He is a visionary leader. He was a visionary leader, and he still today is a visionary leader. So he's always been an inspiration for me. I've always followed into his steps. Yes, he's more hardworking than me. The only difference probably between me and him is that probably I can judge people more better than him. But having said that, like I mentioned about, you're as good as your team. So you need to have the right people. As I said, you can do as per your limitations, but if you have the right team, they will give you the results. And one of the key reasons for Danube to do well, that we had the right people, we had the right infrastructure. When I said the right infrastructure, that we did not stick around only in one place, that is Dubai. We spread our wings all around the Middle East as well as the UAE, and had the right basket of products. So there are the few reasons where Danube grew compared to our other competitors.
Do you think it has something to do with grabbing the opportunities and seeing gaps in the market? Like, I'm sure Dubai back then was very different from how it is now. So could you walk us through how that came to be?
I'm glad you asked me this question. My brother started with plywood, and I started with a product called bidet spray or jet spray, which is used for the toilet. So in plywood, there is a commercial plywood, and in the jet spray, there's one commercial shataf. But had we stuck on only to this commercial product, we would be in the rat race. What we did, that we complemented with other products. So with plywood, we got the non-commercial plywood, we got the film face plywood, XYZ products we added on it. Similarly with the shataf, we got the faucets, we got the basins, we got the showers, so which complemented that product. So we were not sticking on to it one product, which gave us a basket of products and gave an edge to us when we met a client and got business out of that.
Right. I want to talk a little bit about Milano, which is your home improvement, the company. It has seen significant growth in the last few years, but what strategies have you implemented to achieve the success specifically for Milano?
I remember I got this brand Milano from where? Not from Italy, but from Bombay. There was a company who was selling tiles, was having this brand Milano. But their core business was tiles, so they could not focus on this brand Milano. So I thought, why not get this brand and use it in my bath products? And rest is history, as I say, because I made sure that I got the right products from Italy and took advantage of that brand Milano by diversifying the products. As I said, I started with jet spray, I started with faucets, then I got showers, shower enclosures, bathtubs. I kept on growing products one after each. And that helped me in making the brand popular. And very important thing in not only getting products, your marketing. If you don't market your brand, nobody would know today. Today we know all the big brands like the iPhones or the Sony televisions. They have all become brands for a certain reason. So one of the key reasons is not only buying and selling, but ensuring that you market your product well.
Well said, well said. And you do have another brand called Casa Milano. How is this? I guess people might be mistaken, they might mistake Casa Milano with Milano, but what exactly is the difference between the two?
Milano is for the masses, which is for the middle and lower sector. And Casa Milano, I'll be very honest, is the baby of my elder son, Azhar Sajan, who thought about this in 2019 because my brother was building a villa in Emirates Hills. So that is the time he got this idea that to build a house, what are the luxury things he needs? Yeah. So he wanted to do something different than what I was doing. And that is the time he took up this step. And I'm proud that in 5 years' time, he's opened up 6 branches. And in spite of the COVID challenges, he's grown leaps and bounds. And I'm again very happy to say what he did in this 5 years, I probably wouldn't have done it because he's a very charismatic captain who not only leads from the front, but who ensures that he gets the best out of his team, which I probably lacked during his age.
You must be very, very proud then.
Oh, very proud.
Perfect. So I guess the next part of our conversation, which I really wanted to ask you about, is how you balance working with passion. And that's a big thing, especially when it comes to enjoying what you do. So I guess my question is, how do you manage your time and energy between doing your corporate work and by doing your other passions? I know that you're interested in cricket and you've done a lot of yoga as well and wellness. So how do you find that balance?
I would say cricket is a passion which took India by storm when India won the '83 World Cup, and it also took me by it. And when you say how do I balance, I'll be lying if I say that I sometimes gave more importance to cricket, to my passion more than to my business. And my brother always keeps saying that had I taken that little bit of extra time out of cricket and given it to business, probably Danny would have been one notch higher. But that is being me. Cricket is that I eat, sleep and breathe cricket. When it's cricket, everything comes to a standstill for me. But when it is passion, you automatically take out time. But again, I would say that you need to take care of your passion, live your passion, but don't neglect your work. So this is my advice to all youngsters. I did that mistake and my boys are not doing that mistake.
Amazing. I also think it's quite respectable that you're unapologetically you really enjoying what you are passionate about and not letting, again, like with finding balance and everything, it's always tricky with everyone. But that's a very great answer. Thank you so much, Anas.
And then you mentioned about yoga. Well, I had an issue with migraine for almost the first 30 years of my life. I remember I used to get headache every second day. I had no idea what to do. I had different sort of medicines. I did an allopathy or Ayurvedic, went to different doctors, and every second day there was a headache. There was no cure to it. So at that time, my brother sent me to an institute in Bangalore, which is called the Jindal Nature Cure, where I realized that how important it is to give time to yourself. That is that me time, where you go to recharge yourself. And I realized by practicing yoga that how you understand that what triggers migraine. And believe me, from that time, for the last 15 years, I'm happy to say migraine is history.
Do you think that by practicing yoga, you've kind of applied some of the things you've learned there to your business?
Very important. See, a person is judged by his temperament. And what yoga taught me, one is obviously when you do the postures or the asanas, it keeps you in shape. So that is one reason which I feel I've grown younger and younger. With meditation, it makes your mind a little sharp and calmer. Like I remember when I reached your office, I sat in the car for 10 minutes silently because just to get that positive energy. Besides
your business and cricket adventures, you write columns for newspapers as well, and you share your analysis on radio and TV. What motivates you to engage in these, and how do you see the impact of it in your life, in your audience?
Well, as I mentioned about my passion that I eat, sleep and breathe cricket, I probably analyzed the game well. My friends always said that I had a good cricketing head on my shoulders, so that motivates me to write columns. Like I remember now, I was just talking before the show started that the World Cup is going on, the Cricket World Cup. India has been doing when winning the games, but I felt the top batters have been not scoring, so I wanted to write a column on it. So it inspires me to write. It's not about anything against or for it. It's just that it is because of my passion, it motivates me to write, and I live my passion with it.
You place a strong emphasis on developing future leaders as a person and even within your family as well and your company. What are some of the key principles that you follow to foster leadership?
Well, in family, obviously, as I mentioned, you got to ensure that you don't take each other for granted. That is very important, because the day you start taking your children for granted or anybody in the family for granted, you lose your footing. When it comes to getting the right people, I've never liked to use the word employee, but that's the part of your business. But when you get somebody in your company, you got to treat him as family, because when you have that distance between an owner and an employee, or that word of an owner and employee, there is the distance. And when you treat them as family members, you can get the best out of it. So what I was trying to say is that with family, yes, you get integrity, but when you get the right people from outside, it's very important that you get the right people with integrity. And what I look forward, at least from my side, for me, as I said, when I'm good in judging people, I look for integrity. Yes, a lot of people are hardworking. There's nothing wrong. But if you are not loyal to your company, whatever hard work you do goes for a toss. So for the two principles for me, apart from hard work, is integrity and loyalty.
Thank you so much. Very well said. So as my very last question, and as a visionary leader, what are your future goals and aspirations for the companies that you head?
A lot of times you sit on your laurels. It's very important that today, if you are successful, you need to make sure that you strive hard to go one step ahead. Like I mentioned in my earlier conversation, there are many people in this race. Since we are into building material business and real estate business, a lot of companies are there doing the same sort of business. So if you relax and you take a step back, you are going to be finally overtaken by somebody. So you need to keep striving harder and harder and ensuring that you increase your basket of products, get the right people in your company, market your product in the right place so that people don't miss you. As they say, out of sight, out of mind. You keep hammering your brand in such a way that you are recollected by your clients, your buyers, or anybody who was related. Especially when you do buying, you deal with the right people, because if your buying is good, automatically your selling takes care. So it's very important that you keep evolving and keep making sure that you don't relax and sit back on your laurels.
Thank you so much. I think you wrapped that up very beautifully. And again, it is a pleasure to be sitting here with you and to have had that conversation about your journey from the very beginning to how you've imparted your knowledge to your sons. Thank you so much, Anis.
Thank you, Julia. I want to thank ITP for inviting me and my boys on this wonderful occasion of Father's Day. The pleasure is all ours, and I hope we've done justice to your show.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And that's a wrap to today's episode. If you like my conversation today with Anis, feel free to like, subscribe, and star us on Spotify and all of our streaming channels. As always, stay informed, stay ahead, and I'll see you next time.